It's just Gems. I wanted to share this clip from our brother in LA, Terry Anderson, from back in the early 90s sometimes, I do believe. And I wanted to share it because of what's going on right now with the LA City Council and Nuri Martinez and the other people that were having their little secret meeting and trying to redistrict LA so that they could disenfranchise black voters in LA. But I wanted to play this clip first and then we'll discuss that other part later. But I just wanted to highlight what he's saying in this clip from over 20 years ago and see if it still reigns true today and if we really should have been saying this even louder back then. But I want to share this clip and it is fair use.
The black elected officials refuse to address the problem. My own congressman refuses to address the problem. And I think the problem is black folks see all minorities as allies. And this is not the case. These people are not here for our common good. They're here for their own good.
No lies detected there. Black people, we always have seen other minorities, how they've grouped us into this category, like we all have some type of common struggle. We're brothers and sisters in this, and we look like we're fighting together. But then when you take a step back and look at it and see how much racism we experience from these other so-called minorities, then you realize, hey, we're fighting against this system. We're fighting for what's right and what they owe us at this point. And these other minority, quote unquote, groups, they're just fighting for themselves. And they'll take anything, any scraps or anything that fall in their lap from our labor in our fight. But they're not really jumping in fighting for us. They're fighting for themselves. But let's continue.
Have any ill will towards anybody? I also want to look out for my race. I'm a black American. I've never used a hyphen. But I will refuse to turn my back on my race and see what's going on in South Central to my people and let these people come in here and just take over. I'm not going to sit back and watch it. And I think it's a terrible thing, a horrendous thing, for anybody to see this going on and say, well, he's a minority like me, so I won't speak up. I don't care where he comes from. The key to this whole thing is stop the denial, stop the alliances of, in other words, he's a minority like me, so I can't speak up against him. If this was white folks committing these lynchings to us in South Central, what's going on, there would be an outrage in this country. We have had firebombs thrown through windows. We have had people's cars burned in the driveway because they happened to move into the wrong communities. We had a lady who moved to East LA, came to the state from the South, not knowing what East LA was. It was an all-Hispanic community. She wasn't there one day. We had another man who was burned out of his house in Torrance last year. We had 5 murders in Hawaiian Gardens just because the people were black. This would not be tolerated if this was white on black crime. But the fact that these people come here, and it's the numbers, sir. It's the numbers. They come here in the numbers, they build up the Hispanic community, and they get this sense of power against us. And there are race riots in the schools every day in Los Angeles. It never makes the media. The black kids are being run out of the schools every day and told to go back to Africa. It never makes the media. We are having people who are being discriminated against on every avenue of society, economic, schools, even in our prisons now.
And to think this was over 2 decades ago, you know, I see here in Texas how there are some schools that used to be multiracial. Now they're almost completely Hispanic. And with those type numbers, sometimes these students and these people can feel empowered to become the bullies, to kind of bully people out of their own neighborhoods, their own schools. And we're supposed to just not say anything or not have a problem with that and want to delineate and have our own little, look, we're black Americans, we're not people of color. We're not the same as people that are immigrating into the country. And people have a problem with that. Like why are you trying to do that? Why are you saying you're not part of people of color. Why are you acting like that? Like we're being divisive. No, you guys have done your own thing. Even the Hispanics have their own caucus, or the Latinos have their own caucus, and people advocating for their group. However, the Black Caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus, they don't specifically help black people. The majority of the people they help, and if you look at their website, it always shows for minorities, for people of color. It doesn't say this is for black people. And the way that the other websites for Asian Pacific Islanders, how theirs is specifically for them, and other websites for other groups are specifically for them. They don't say nothing about no people of color and black folks. It doesn't say any of that. But this just brings me to what's happening right now in LA, and the president of the city council she's Latina. Now she's resigned. She was caught on tape having a little secret meeting with these other Latino members of the city council, and she was specifically talking about one of the other council members who is a gay white guy. He has a husband and they have adopted a black son. Now that's a whole other thing. But anywho, she was talking about his son she called him a little changuito or something. Whatever it was, it meant monkey, a little monkey. And she says some other disparaging things. Oh, and they were actively trying to redistrict LA to disenfranchise black people's vote. So they didn't have as much of the vote as the Hispanic population. They would make it so that the black vote would always be watered down, and the Latinos would really have the say in who was being elected for them. Now, does that sound like some kind of black and brown coalition? Does that sound like we want to be equal and fight together? That sounds like a group or somebody that's fighting for their own specific group and trying to do whatever shady shit that they have to do in order to make that happen. Now, how is that fair? We never hear any tapes of something coming out about black representatives getting together and trying to plot and be shady and make it so the black people have the majority vote this way. It's always either the white Republicans, or now you got your brown brothers and sisters of the Democrat Party. Yeah. They had a big protest, and I will say that on the pictures it did show some Latinos that were out there protesting with black people, saying that they wanted her to resign, because originally she just said she was going to step away and she was sorry. She made some other disparaging remarks about some indigenous Americans as well. And now everybody wants all of those city council members that were involved to resign, and they should. But this just speaks to what Mr. Anderson was saying back then about the way that the Latinos get together and they actively go against the black people. And this just shows it. They've been here. Now, that was over 20 years ago, and now they're seated in city council redistricting LA. And black people used to be all over LA. And you look now, and that's just a lot of the neighborhoods are completely Latino. They used to be black. But I just wanted to share that and keep you guys updated on what's going on. I'm not in LA, but it just speaks to what's happening, and sometimes things spill over into other cities, and things that may be happening in your city just haven't made it to the big headline. But make sure you hit that like button, share the program if you care to, and subscribe to the channel. I truly appreciate all of my subscribers, and until the next time, peace.